Hey guys, how are you doing today? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. It's been a while since I've gone over my mastering chain, and I did make some changes here and there, so I thought I would share it all with you because mastering can be either way too complicated or just, not really understand anything. So hopefully this helps. If you want to join the Discord server, by the way, the link is in the description. Anyway, let's just get right into it. So this will be how my song sounds unmastered entirely. So I personally think it's pretty good. And so if I bring on my mastering chain, I'll go through one by one just so you can hear what all of it's doing. I will put on the limiter clipper first, just so that way we have consistent audio throughout the entire thing and you'll see more or less what everything is doing. So you heard it before, this is after. And so you can see with these little red peaks on the top here, aside from giving a volume boost, it is taming a lot of what would be poking out a little bit way too much for the final actual mix. So it's taming that and it is providing a volume increase. I like to use flatline too just because it's super simple. I literally leave everything default. I just switch it to hybrid and adjust the threshold until it's barely catching those extra peaks as you saw, and I pulled back the ceiling a little bit so that way it's not absolutely destroying the actual output. But if you want to get more in depth with it, you can of course adjust the attack and release and look ahead, transient, sustain. I find that I personally don't ever need to change any of these things. I think the settings are phenomenal out of the box, but it's exactly what it sounds like. If you want more attack, if you want more aggression out of the track, it would obviously pull up or down this. So slower, it even tells you right there, slower will make the transients feel bigger, faster will make it kind of sound smaller. So it would probably end up just kind of making it feel less attacky. And so just for sound demonstration, and for the release, it's going to basically be, as it says here, faster release is louder and slower will be smoother. I find 60 milliseconds is a very good middle point, but let's go without. And so you can see, like, while it is subtle sometimes and while it is actually very apparent sometimes, having a really good understanding of these things, even though I personally leave them all default anyway, it is a very good thing to know, and it's a very good thing to intuitively think ahead and actually plan how the final mix is going to sound and feel. Then we have look ahead. I don't know too much about look ahead, I'm not going to lie, but it's, again, it tells you right here, it sets how much smoothing is applied when you do the gain reduction to a signal. So can show a sound example of this, and I'm just probably going to put it back at default because I think it sounds perfect, but let's do it max. So I personally think it's just right at 0.16 milliseconds. Transient channel linking, you can adjust them independently, but I don't really touch them much. I'll just do them both at the same time, just for an example. And that is the channel linking section. I don't really know what else to say about it because I don't use it, I'll be honest. Anyway, first in the chain I have OTT. This is on every single mix that I've ever done after I found this plugin. I don't know what it is. It adds so much feeling of depth that I really, really like. I use it on very tame settings, as you can see as well. I only have it on 8%. All of this other stuff I believe is just straight up default, and I'll just randomly flip it on and you'll probably hear what it's doing. And it is adding some high end as well. If you don't like that, you can always turn down the knob or adjust this little bar here. So if I wanted to get rid of some of that high end that it's adding, I would just pull this down. But I liked it how it was default. Then I have an EQ. This is a very basic EQ. I have a very bad tendency to mix very dark, so I just by default have a random high shelf on. And then I also have a slight low end boost here. And then I have just some muddiness that was popping through on this particular mix, so I just put it down on the master because why not? So without and with. And you can especially hear on this example what it's actually doing. It just feels like it pulls the whole mix and puts it right in your face. It brings everything together, in my opinion. I think having that high-end shelf and having that low-end boost, it really does help this mix actually sit and translate, as well as just in general sound way more aggressive. Then I have Frequency Sniper. This is a subscription plugin through Nail the Mix. However, you can get the same exact results from Soothe, which is a one-time payment, or they also have the payment plan, or there's also amazing free alternatives. I don't remember the name of them, but if one of you knows, you can drop them in the comments. So this is basically going to analyze the harshest frequencies that typically you don't want to listen to, which is again what Soothe does. And you can set it to be dynamic, which I for some reason did not. And I will just play without it, and then I'll just flip it on and you'll see what it does. Delta. And this is everything that it's getting rid of, which is typically stuff that you kind of don't want when you crank the song because it's going to make your ears hurt. So it's a nice addition. Then I have JST Heat. I have this on the absolute default setting. I did not change anything aside from the heat knob and the output, just to gain stage and make sure it wasn't popping out way too much. So this is without it. And then with it. And honestly, this is a massive, you can't avoid this. If for some reason you don't know, JST Heat is a saturation plugin. You can do the same exact thing with Saturn, but I just find JST Heat having literally one knob to worry about for 99% of the use cases. It's just brainless, and it just makes everything sound 10 times better. You can hear that when I turn it on, it becomes way more glued. It becomes way more saturated, but that also gives it a lot more feeling, and it gives it a lot more warmth, and it gives it a lot more pizzazz. There is a ton of free saturation plugins that I'm sure will do just as great because it's literally just saturation. But I just like the simplicity of flip one knob and it sounds good. And the way that I would dial this in is I tend to like to just start at 0, and then I'll go to the extreme, and then I think, okay, that's way too much, and then I'll back it off until it's just at the sweet spot, which here it was 40 for me, so I'll just do that now. Way too much. Go off. And so yeah, I absolutely adore this plugin. You should absolutely, if there was any plugin that I would chill forever for the rest of my life, it's this one. And last, I have Fresh Air. This one is a really weird one. The reason I say it's weird is because it either lives on my master bus or on my instrumental bus. And the reason for that is I like to over-process vocals to the point where they're just absolutely insane. Like, you've probably seen it in my video that I'll link up here. It's just so distorted that if I even whisper into my mic, it sounds like an actual scream, and I love it. But having Fresh Air on the master while those kinds of vocals are going, it makes the vocals even more crazy and hard to tame. And so throwing it on the instrumental bus in that case, then I would say it is a good idea. This is also one that I've never really seen someone do aside from just talking about it. And not everyone's around. No one, not everyone's a part of that conversation. So let's just see what it does. So again, this is off, and then I'll just flip it on. And it's kind of the same thing as the high shelf or the JST Heat. It's just this is giving a little bit more mid presence, which again will absolutely help with mix translation, because as you know, phones are typically mid-range heavy, higher in higher frequencies. So this would definitely help as well. I do it the same as the saturation, so I'll start with it off, go way too high, and then I'll find the sweet spot from there. Way too much. It's probably even good lower than I had it set. And with that, you have a full mastering chain. And let's just do one more before and after all of the master effects just for fun. Before. And on. And so that was my video this week, and I hope it really does help, because mastering again can be a very daunting thing. It can be a very intimidating thing, but it doesn't have to be. It can be very simple. Again, if you want to check out my Discord server, the link is in the description. I have a suggestion box if you have any video ideas, and I have nothing else to show other than I appreciate you. Thank you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.